Thank you for clicking on this video. Welcome friends to PastQuest. My name is Elena. I'm 29 years old and just a few weeks ago, I finally crossed the finish line of a dream I'd been chasing for years. I bought my own home. A place with walls I could touch and know were mine. A roof that didn't belong to roommates or landlords. A front door that opened to my key alone. I spent the days before move-in scrubbing counters until they gleamed, stringing warm lights along the porch, simmering chili on the stove. I imagined laughter spilling into the rooms, bowls clinking against spoons, family gathered close. Every chair I set out was for someone I loved. But when the time came, not one of them appeared. Instead, they all gathered around my younger sister Tessa's brand new car. At 5:41 that evening, I turned on the lights of my empty house. My phone buzzed. Dad's name glowed across the screen. His voice was curt, tight, "We need to talk." For a heartbeat I thought maybe it was about love, maybe about family. But deep down I already knew. It was about what they believed they could take. See, I grew up in a house where money wasn't money. It dressed up in costumes, wore masks. Sometimes it called itself love. Other times duty. Other times responsibility. At 14, Dad decided I should start paying rent. $100 a month out of my grocery store paycheck. He told me it would teach me about the real world. I paid him like I was being fined for existing. At 16, I asked Mom where all that money went. She said simply, "Into the family." When I pressed for proof, Dad laughed. A sharp, mocking laugh that still echoes in me. That was the moment I started keeping records. At first in a little spiral notebook, later in neatly organized phone files. Every dollar I handed over, every so-called emergency contribution, every mysterious expense. I wasn't obsessive. I was surviving. That notebook was the only way to make sure reality stayed real. Meanwhile, Tessa lived in a different world entirely. When I scraped together cash for a beat-up used car, I learned to change the oil myself. When she got hers, Dad handed her keys to a brand new hatchback, smiling as he said, "A young woman needs something safe." And the family clapped like it was wisdom carved in stone. When she quit college, they called her bold. When she sold candles under the table without paying taxes, they praised her creativity. When she declared herself a content creator, I was the one who calculated the real cost. Ring lights, phone upgrades, a dedicated filming space. And when I refused to co-sign leases or tack her onto my phone plan, the family's language shifted like sand. I wasn't Elena anymore. I was selfish. I was stingy. I was a ledger with legs. Mom's tone would go cold and glassy. "Don't be a ledger, Elena. We raised you, clothed you, fed you. We gave you everything." Dad would stare out the window like a prophet and say the same line over and over. "A real daughter provides." That was how love worked in my house. Not through hugs or gentle words, but through transactions. The more you gave, the more they expected. The less of you remained. I taught myself not to wait for applause. You do what's required, you keep moving. And if you wanted something for yourself, you gave up in silence. I truly believed buying a house would change that story. That a deed with my name alone would mean freedom. But my empty housewarming was just a warning of what was coming. I started saving at 25. Not coins in a jar. Real saving. Overtime shifts that left me bone-tired. Years of skipping vacations. Of putting up with roommates who left dirty dishes in the sink. I named my savings spreadsheet brick by brick. Every row was a sacrifice. Skip takeout, save $40. Cancel a trip, save $300. Don't buy new shoes, save $80. Sacrifices stacked until they formed walls I could live inside. 4 years later, I sat in a title office, signing my name 15 times in one afternoon. The officer pushed a folder toward me, smiled, and said, "Congratulations, homeowner." That word tasted heavy and sweet, like something finally unclenched in my chest. The house I chose was small but alive with charm. A 2-bedroom Craftsman. A hallway that squeaked underfoot. A fireplace decorated with a single crooked tile shaped like a blue fish. Out back, a lemon tree that tapped softly in the wind. A porch swing that came with the deed. as if waiting for me to sit and breathe. For the first time, I had a door that locked for me, and only me. When I told my family, their faces tightened into warped smiles. Mom said, "Make sure you keep a guest room for Tessa." Dad said, "Add a garage. I'll finally have somewhere to put my saw." Tessa's first question was, "Your kitchen has amazing light. Can I film there?" Still, I let myself celebrate. I posted the invite. Saturday, 5 p.m., chili and cornbread. I scrubbed walls, bought folding chairs, hauled a second-hand rug home in my old Civic. I bought matching bowls, lit citronella candles that smelled faintly like lemon cleaner. Even chilled a root beer for Dad, because he likes to pretend he's still a kid. 5:02 that evening, I checked the street. Me. 5:11, I lit the candles anyway. At 5:18, I texted ETA. Mom replied soon. Dad said nothing. Tessa sent a picture of herself in sunglasses, standing in front of a glossy red car. We did a thing. At 5:33, another buzz, this time a video. Mom filming Tessa rev the engine, laughter and clapping in the background. Meanwhile, I stood in my spotless kitchen, my chili bubbling like it was laughing at me. At 5:41, I flipped on the living room lights. My home looked like a real estate listing photo. Perfect. And utterly empty. I ate my chili standing over the sink. It was delicious. The silence was louder. I didn't cry. I didn't rage. I just stared at the doorway where a thin draft slid past fresh weather stripping. Outside, the lemon tree dropped a fruit. The porch swing creaked in the wind. Then my phone lit up again. Dad's voice. Clipped, commanding. "We need to talk." The next night, they arrived like raiders. Dad's truck in front, Mom's SUV behind. Tessa's new car bringing up the rear with temporary tags still clinging crooked in the window. I watched them through the peephole. Mom's lips pressed tight, ready to scold. Tessa checked her reflection in the visor mirror. Dad carried a clipboard. I opened the door before they could knock. "Hi," I said flat. Mom leaned in with an air kiss. "We'll bless the house after," she said. "After what?" "Yes." Dad brushed past me like he owned the place. Tessa panned her phone across my living room. "Look, my sister's house," she narrated to her followers. No one looked at the crooked blue tile. No one asked about the lemon tree. Dad set his clipboard on my counter. "Let's get to business," he said. "What business?" I asked, though my chest already knew. He flipped a page. First item. Tessa's car insurance is predatory. We're moving her registration to your address. She'll keep it here sometimes. "No," I said. He blinked like he misheard. "Excuse me. No registrations at my house unless the person lives here." Mom's tone went syrupy. "She'll be here often. She needs a stable base." Tessa leaned on the counter. "It's not a big deal. Harmless. It's not about crime," I said. "It's about my name." Dad sighed. "You're being rigid." Next item. "Will get me added to the deed. For estate reasons. Makes things smoother if anything happens to you." "If anything happens to me," I said. "My will is signed and witnessed in my desk. No one goes on my deed." Mom's smile went thin and sharp. "We're protecting you. You don't understand how the world works." "I understand perfectly," I said. Dad turned another page. "Fine. Then refinance. Just a small equity line. 80,000. We'll help manage it. Tessa needs a down payment for her storefront." And there it was. The real reason they skipped my housewarming. They hadn't come to celebrate me. They'd come to turn my house into their leverage. I looked at the countertop I had polished for them. And in that moment, they weren't family anymore. They were creditors who shared my last name. "No," I said. Firm. No deed changes. No refinancing. No registrations. None of it. Dad's eyebrows shot up like I'd sworn in church. Mom's eyes glistened with rehearsed tears. Tessa's phone hovered, ready to capture the scene. Dad leaned across the counter, voice low. "Be a good daughter. Step up. Provide." I laughed once, sharp. "You taught me to provide. You charged me rent at 14. I stepped up. Save. I did this alone. This house is not a group project." The air went taut. Tessa jabbed a finger at me. You don't even use both bedrooms. I could move in, pay a little, help with content. How much? Yes. She froze. Dad slammed his hand on the clipboard. Enough. Here's what's going to happen. We'll fix the deed. If I register the car. Post Thanksgiving. You have the space. No, I said again, each word a lock snapping into place. Mom's tears spilled over. Why are you punishing us? We raised you. Family reallocates resources. Your sister is starting out. You're stable. You carry her until she carries you. I just laid this foundation, I said. I won't let you dig it up. Dad's tone dropped, menacing. You don't shut doors on blood. I'm not shutting, I said. I'm locking the doors I paid for. Silence split open. Tessa sneered. You're lucky. You got a house. Some of us actually need help. I needed help too, I said. I just gave it to myself. Dad jabbed a finger. If you do this, don't come crying when you're alone. Mom added, soft as a knife. And don't expect us to come when you need something. I looked at the lemon on the counter, bright against the spotless surface. I wanted to throw it. I didn't. I squared my shoulders. House rules, I said. No car registrations unless you live here. No keys. No names added to the deed. No loans for boutiques or saws. If Grandma needs medicine, I'll help her directly. Otherwise, this house is not your ATM. Dad barked a laugh, disgusted. A receipt. Yes, I said. From now on, everything has a receipt. Mom shook her head. You've changed. I've moved, I said. And the house moves with me. They left without another word. Tessa revved her car so loud my windows shook. The noise faded, but my chest still trembled. This wasn't the end. It was only the beginning. When the door shut behind them, it landed like a verdict. An hour later, the family group chat erupted. Mom, unacceptable behavior. Dad, ungrateful. Tessa, my sister is sabotaging me with DMV screenshots. Her friends spammed laughing emojis. A stranger sent a snake. I muted the chat, turned off the ringer, then got to work. I changed the lock codes, froze my credit, flagged my property records, called the dealership. Yes, someone tried to use my address. No, it didn't work. Paper trails keep reality real. Mom's voicemail swung from anger to pleading. If you love me, call me. Dad sent refinance calculators captioned, be reasonable. Tessa posted. Sometimes the people closest to you laugh when you drive. Drive anyway. But in the quiet of my home, I realized I wasn't alone. Grandma called one night. Are you eating? She asked. Yes, I told her. She chuckled. Good girl. Don't let your mother guilt you out of your walls. That was her way of saying I love you. That Sunday, while my parents held their family meeting, I grilled 2 burgers. I gave one to my neighbor, the woman who waved to me on move-in day. She smiled. You're a good neighbor. That meant more than any blessing ritual ever could. A week later, I threw another housewarming. Not for them. For me. My co-workers came. Basketball friends. My neighbor. We ate chili and cornbread. Laughed on the squeaky porch swing. 9:10 someone said, this place feels like you. And for the first time I believed it. Because family is not ownership. Boundaries are not betrayal. Freedom sometimes sounds like a locked door and laughter echoing behind it. This house is mine. Finally mine.
Thanks for watching PastQuest. If you enjoyed the journey into history, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more amazing stories from the past. See you in the next quest.